So very good evening to everybody. Respected CA Uday Sathe, Chairman of this committee, which is organizing this program. Past President Narayan Pasari, who was just the ex-chairman of the committee for last 5 years. CA Nitin Singhala, past President BCAS, as well as today's eminent faculty. And CA Vivek Shah is also a core group committee member of BCAS and a young and dynamic upcoming chartered accountant. A very welcome to my co-members here, Preeti, Rimple, all are here who have, and Jainam who has organized these programs for you. So very welcome to everybody. Just because you are here today, I don't want to give any tips on the education, but definitely couple of tips on two things. One, yes, technology, for which even today's session somewhere relates to, and our theme for the quarter also relates to somewhere around technology. So I will connect something about technology with you people in my just opening remarks. And second is about networking. These two things are off the books, but very much required now for your journey ahead, for which I'll give some tips and some which you want to carry back. Yes, friends, as Preeti just mentioned in the opening, that we are entering our 75th year. We entered on the 6th of July. So this entire year is a 75th year celebration for Bombay Chartered Accountant Society. And during this year, we'll be planning a lot of activities, events, seminars, mega conferences, which I will discuss in coming 2 minutes, and which I would definitely require all of you to be part of and take the maximum out of it. 75th year being, we decided to have certain themes for the year, and the first quarter we are, as Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, we've taken technology as the theme, and we would be doing a lot of programs or events around technology for every area, including maybe audit, tax, GST, privacy laws, security, cyber laws, anything around that, internal audit would cover something around technology apart from other programs, including my messages, which I give monthly, will cover about technologies. Coming to that technology, friends, we all know that technology is going to be changing. I also recently visited the Museum of Future in Dubai, and you will see a lot of the way they have shown there. Technology is totally different and taking a different level in every field. It's not only about chartered accountancy, but if you know that chartered accountants are connected to every field. Right, everybody says whether it will impact CA. If it impacts every field, it does impact CA. Right, so it's not that CA are going to be out or in, but every field of business, when it gets affected with technology and you don't adopt those technologies, then yes, you will also be out along with those businesses. So somewhere in every area we saw that, even in terms of energies, I saw there that they are going to be putting, why we go to Chandrayaan and Mars. So they have shown that the solar panels, there would be no space on the earth to put solar panels, which can give energy to the whole world. So the panels would be put up there, and the energy through satellites or whatever they would be putting up there will be transformed to earth and then distributed to areas. And where the stations would be, everything is shown there in the future in 2075, how it would be. Even if you will take your maybe apparels, clothing, technology will play a role. You might get to see how you may look when the final dress is designed, and you may just order putting your sizes online and you will get a dress delivered with how it looks on you. You can change it, or maybe how it is. You can change the colors and see how it looks on you. So even technology, including the coats, will be made by robots. So no tailor is going to design. Once you put the thing, it will go into the machine automatically. It's out, delivery by robots, loaded into the trucks, delivered to you. Everything is going to be possible in future. You take fintech, India is leading today in payments. Everybody of us know. Other part of the world are copying us. So our UPI model is like going worldwide now, including UAE, Nepal, everybody is after us. So even in fintech, technology is playing a role. I recently read somewhere, even in political, there could be where or legal, where judges could be robots or not. So they would know all the cases, they would refer, connect the samples, and give a judgment. Could or could not be. But these are all future. Medical area, we know how it is changing. Our profession, all of you are already keeping a tab, so I don't want to share much. But even our profession is getting affected by technology. The second element which I wanted you guys to know more about is networking. Again, networking is very critical for a future. How to build networking, I will just give some, is like, one, obviously become a member of professional bodies, because that's where you connect. I don't know whether you guys would have met so many people before this, apart from your classes, right? So today is another opportunity, and not that everybody's from the same classes here. So another opportunity today for you to, after these sessions, interact with each other before you go home. Another is attending, events, conferences. That's where you network. Don't feel shy. Carry a card and, be able to share that card, because a lot of people now want to enter practice, is what I've seen a new trend. Not just a practice, but including consultancy practices. It's not about only signing of reports or something, but also advisory. But that's too early. Gather some knowledge and then jump in. Then you connect with relevant professionals as well as seniors over there, which will help you in your profession where you get stuck with technicals. A lot of times when we got technically stuck, we had BCS forums, we had experts, stalwarts here. They were just a call away for us, because they knew us, they saw us in the events and conferences. And obviously voluntarily participate. All such associations works based on the volunteers. Today, this organization has 250 plus members in their core committees, which works voluntarily. So we have 10 committees which runs Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, apart from the managing committee and the office bearers. So these 10 committees are related to accounts, tax, internal audit, indirect tax, international tax. So there are further volunteers within it who organize these themes, speakers, everything, publications, and that's where we deliver our journals, references, everything to you guys. So BCS runs like this, completely on voluntary basis. Obviously, it has a back office team, but more covered everything by everybody who are volunteers to the same. So BCS today, friends, just because you guys are new, I will just introduce BCS. And then one of our mega conference of the 75th year, where again, for a lot of offers for young chartered accountants. So, you guys should take that. See, BCS has 10,000 plus members and subscribers. It is spreaded in 230 plus towns and cities. So its name is Bombay Chartered Accountancy, spreaded wide all over India. It is pure, its mission is knowledge spreading, encouraging members, giving a platform for members to grow, come participate and grow. It is done through various event, conferences, publications, monthly journals, which is one of the most sought after journal. One of the copies are being shared today by this committee to you guys. BCS does rely on dedicated efforts of volunteers, and it's a pioneer in thought leader in designing new programs, themes, events, which you will also see in our forthcoming events. Apart from that, BCS, as it entered its 75th year, has a lot of events, technical and non-technical. You will also have treks, crickets, marathons for member meets and networking. We have technical events, a lot of technical events around technology, around Chartered for Change, around practicing firms, how they can grow and go beyond, and also about how to connect with industry. So if you're a part of industry, we still will have a lot of programs where it can help you to grow on ladders on in your industry. So that's another element. And the mega event, which we are having on 4th, 5th, and 6th of January. It has a lot of different elements to this program. It talks about technology, the game changer. It has sessions around new age wars. So they are not going to be wars, but the currency wars, the economic wars, the cyber wars, how they will turn around and how professionals will play a role in it. It talks about startups. So how startup entire journey takes care of a startup and what professionals play a role in it. So as young chartered accountants, because startups look more for young chartered accountants. So you guys have a great opportunity there. So what are those opportunities? You will have themes like one world, one tax. Is it possible? So these are the areas, avenues, which a lot of such themes are being discussed in that going to be discussed in that programs by stalwarts and experts in those fields. So do take part of it. For youth, definitely today the prizes and the offers are quite slashed, which you will get the pamphlets, or you can search online. You can just say reimagine.bcsonline.org and you will end up there and you can select. So it's highly subsidized till 15th of August for all young chartered accountants. So please do take advantage of that. And I think you have the speakers today to take the session up and then the felicitation. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity to talk to you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I now invite the chairman of the Seminar, Public Relations and Membership Development Committee, CA Uday Bhai Sathe, to address us.
गुड इवनिंग. कैसे लग रहा है? ये सब चीज महीना 2 महीने चलेगी, then you will be facing the life. Because when I passed out, there were very less compliances, but now you have passed out in such time that a lot of compliances you will be facing for your clients or the firm where you will be working. So be prepared for that. Friends, 2 things I want to ask you. Do you want to be successful chartered accountant? Good. So number 1 step you have to do is that become chartered accountant, Bombay Chartered Accountant Society's member. And you feel the difference. After becoming Bombay Chartered Accountant Society member, then try to engage yourself into all the activities of the society, considering your specialized area. Because we have 10 committees which President mentioned. Tomorrow you visit BCA website, maybe on Sunday. Keep a habit that every Sunday you will see BCA website at least for half an hour. And whatever is takeaway possible, join in that. So number 1, become member of the society. And number 2, visiting Bombay Chartered Accountant Society, like other visit sites, you may visit matrimony and all. So visit BCA website and see where you can join, because it's a very vibrant society. Whatever benefits you will get, you will not imagine today. But once you join Bombay Chartered Accountant Society in a large number, you will feel the difference. In addition to the committees, we have a lot of study circles where specialized subjects were tackled. All stalwarts, experts in the field, they come and guide the participants. Few of them are virtual, few of them are physical. Because I personally believe, because I may be from the old school of thought, but I personally believe that if you want to gain a knowledge, it is necessary that you should meet together. Everything can't happen with a soft copy or artificial intelligence or meeting virtually and all. There was one young boy in US. For the 3rd time in that particular year, he came to India. His American friend asked him, "Why are you going to India?" He said, "No, I want to get married." He said, "Then what?" नहीं वो बोलता है कि वहां जाके वो लड़की देखनी पड़ती है. अरे अमेरिका में तो सब ईमेल पे होता है. बोलता हमारे यहाँ फीमेल से होती है शायद. So we have to go and. So what I want to tell you is that physical communication, interactive meetings, attending physically makes a lot of a difference. All of you want to gain knowledge. There is a Marathi 4-line couplet. Do you follow Marathi? Good. केल्याने देशाटन पंडित मैत्री आणि सभेत संचार आणि ग्रंथावलोकेन मनुजा चातुर्य येत असे फार. The meaning of this is केल्याने देशाटन. That means traveling from one place to another. You may be traveling for the work or for other purpose, but traveling gives you a lot of knowledge. Pandita Maitri, that you are in a friendship of a knowledgeable people, which you are. Sabheta Sanchara, that means attending conferences, symposiums, meetings, interactive sessions and all. Ani Granthavalokana, that means reading the books. These are the 4 ways are given in the Vedas to gain knowledge and become a knowledgeable person. So all these combinations are available in Bombay Chartered Accountant Society. So my humble request to all of you is that you have joined this notable profession today. But after doing all these things, you will feel that you are a respectable professional. So become a respectable professional and not only notable. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. First of all, congratulations. I have the pleasure to introduce our eminent speakers for today. Nitin Shingala, A chartered accountant with 35 plus years of experience, CA Nitin Shinghala is a partner with Deloitte India in their tax vertical since August 2015. Before joining Deloitte, he sold his successful practice built over 2 decades to TMF Group, a global leader in outsourcing, accounting, payroll, and company secretarial services, and contributing as a managing and then the regional director of the group. During the stint, he also mentored and supported Japan, Mauritius, and Thailand verticals as part of APEC leadership role. An all India rank holder in the final and enter C exams. He has vast experience in accounting, tax, corporate, and allied laws, cross-border transactions, and management advisory. He has advised several leading Fortune 500 and other MNCs, and also served as an independent director on the boards of some reputed companies. He's the past president of BCAS and is currently the chairman of the International Taxation Committee. He has written several articles in leading publications and spoken at various forums. He has also been one of the mentors of our very reputed mentoring event where we mentor, new chartered accountants on the journey. He has been a visiting faculty at Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management Studies and Wellington Institute of Management Development and Research. He was a member of the SEBI committee as well to review corporate governance, chaired by Mr. Narayan Murthy. Please, a round of applause for CA Nitin Shinghala. CA Vivek Shah, a BCom, CA, LLB, he's a forensic auditor. He's a practicing CA from Mumbai. He specializes in international taxation, crypto advisory, and forensic audit. His client range from startups to listed companies and are spread over 16 countries. He has assisted many companies in setting up global operations in a tax efficient manner. He has advised businessmen, professionals, bankers, CBI officers, as well as bureaucrats of various ministries of the Indian government. He has been selected as an international speaker by ACI for UAE tax laws. Recently, he has been also doing a lot of work in Dubai and around UAE. He's passionate about exploring the emerging opportunities and challenges in the crypto and Web3 space and has advised several startups in this domain. He's also very active on social media like YouTube, etc. Especially LinkedIn. He regularly shares his knowledge and experiences through small clips, infographics, etc. Please put your hands together for CA Vivek Shah. We start the session now. Yeah.
So I'll just continue to be one of those who will continue to congratulate you. All of you have overcome the half CA syndrome and all of you are now FCA, though technically you will become ACA. And as they say, ladki se umar, bachcho se whatever, and CA aspirant se number or attempt nahi puche jate, right? So, but welcome to this exclusive club. As on today, I just checked on ICI portal. We have 393,470 chartered accountants. So, which means in a country of today's population is again 143.01 crores. So we are 0.002751 odd percentage. Just to translate that into something meaningful, we are 27.5 chartered accountants for every 1 lakh of population in India. And let's consider how does this compare with the number of accountants in UK. UK has, whatever I could gather, 390,000 chartered accountants. And what is population of UK? 6.78 crores, which is less than that of Maharashtra. So UK has more qualified accountants than India, but population is less than that of Maharashtra, which means they have something like 576 chartered accountants per 1 lakh population. We have 20 times potential to grow. So till that time, it will remain exclusive and welcome to this club. So when you saw your exam result, how did you feel? Were you on top of the world? You passed, cracked through the toughest exam in the world, as they say. There is a hype that is being made. When everything looks like, feels like an uphill struggle, just think of the view from the top. So you are all at the top, right? Or are we? Or is this the beginning of the journey? How many of you do trekking and mountaineering? What happens when you reach one peak? There is another peak lurking behind, right? So it's like that. You may feel that you've studied so hard. Is it end of the studies? Or is it beginning of the studies? So far, all your studies, you've studied all very hard, but it was all, theoretical, exam oriented. And you have to now convert that book knowledge into an applied knowledge. See, during this 20 odd minutes that I'll interact with you before we get into, of course, Vivek will address you, and then we'll take any questions that you may have. I'll hope that I'll try and address most of the questions through my discourse. But if there are any brainwaves that come to you, be ready with your pen, paper, or mobile phone. Note them down. More specifically, if you think any actions that come to your mind. So be active. Engage actively rather than just passively listening to whatever I say. So it is important to now convert that book knowledge into applied knowledge. And therefore, that is a journey that you will have to undertake. In fact, I remember in my firm where I did my articleship, a senior partner told me when I qualified to him that, Nitin, so far you had one goal and your life was simple because you had to do CA. And all my energies, all your energies were concentrated after that goal. Ab the problem starts now. Ab kya kare? मैं इधर जाऊं, उधर जाऊं, प्रैक्टिस में जाऊं, प्रोफेशनल फर्म में जाऊं, इंडस्ट्री में जाऊं तो कहां जाऊं? Lots of questions you will have, and I'm sure we'll try and together find out how do we address all your questions. In fact, what I find is ICI curriculum, though very good, and it's one of the toughest exam, which is all fine, but it barely prepares us for post-qualification success. I mean, the GMCS is a feeble attempt to, with few sessions on career and practice and career development and all of that. Most of our post-qualification learning is unstructured, and we lack a structured approach. So therefore, the next question that comes to my mind is, how do you become a successful chartered accountant or a successful professional for that matter? I'm sure you will have lots of questions. In fact, there is a questionnaire that has been circulated that has almost 100 plus rows in the Excel file. But how do we define a professional? You all have now joined the club of a profession. What do we mean by professional? Any clues? Anybody wants to give it a shot? So a professional is one where the professional body, lays down certain expectations around standards of capability and behavior. That's who a professional is. So we'll have to be very mindful, but that's minimum. What does it take for a professional to become successful? I find there are 4 key ingredients. If we focus on that, we remain, relevant, and we can pursue excellence. In fact, Tom Peters says, pursuit of excellence is a journey and never a destination. The 4 ingredients, I define this as a success formula. Professional success requires KASH. So if you want to earn a lot of CASH, you need a lot of KSH. What are these KSH? I'll put K S together and S and H together. K is knowledge. And we all know right now, whatever knowledge you have is more book knowledge. You will have to convert that into applied knowledge. Even on an ongoing basis, you have the Data Protection Act enacted by, it's in the process of getting enacted through parliamentary process. You'll have to learn a lot about that. So every now and then there are changes in the law. The whole environment has become dynamic. So the learning has to be continuous. And therefore, it is not just the continuous professional education for the sake of your CPRs that you will have to undergo, but genuinely you will have to identify areas of knowledge where you will specialize, you will focus on, and you will continue to excel. So K is a very important element in that. S is also very important. S is skills. Skills would include your technology skills, your communication skills. You define a host of skills. And these days, life is very simple. I hope all of you have a login to ChatGPT. Ask what are the skills important for a successful professional, and you will get your answer. You can make your question a little more specific. In fact, the whole game is now converting into asking right question. You need to ask right question. You need to know how to ask right question. The answers will come to you on your own. So S is very important. Right now, I can't get into further details, but just giving you the framework. These are knowledge and skills are areas where we generally put conscious efforts. And therefore, you will find ICA programs for CP and otherwise tend to focus both on this knowledge and skills. The other aspects of A and H are areas where generally there is no conscious effort. And therefore, it is very important that we pay special attention to development of ourselves in these two areas. A is for attitude and H is for habit. Every successful person, and Narayan here has read something like 250 autobiographies. So, you need to study successful people, find out their recipe of success and replicate that. Why do we have to reinvent the wheel? So, it is important to follow a process. Outcome is visible and that is sight. But what input and process you follow is insight, which is not seen generally. So it is important that you follow a structured process to your success and therefore identify areas within KSH. I give a simple formula. For each of these elements, you can identify sub-elements. For knowledge, for example, what is you want to focus on, say, international tax. FEMA is an important element of that. What is your current knowledge? You can rate it on 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5 being significantly exceeding expectation and 1 being absolutely 0. Now, if you think you are at 1 and you want to reach 3 or 4 or 5, what is the roadmap? How many hours you will invest in upgrading yourself in that area of knowledge or whichever area of knowledge that you identify? This has to be a conscious effort. You will have to drive yourself towards that excellence. Similarly, on skills part or even on attitude and habits aspect, you will have to identify what development program you want to follow. So there are 3 R's that help a person become successful. And those 3 R's are responsibility. Whenever you take up any assignment in your job, in a firm or in industry or wherever, don't shy away from responsibility. Take charge. In fact, as they say, baptism by fire, it's always very, very helpful. You may be put into very difficult situation. You may have to burn midnight oils, but those are the best days because what is important right now is for you to acquire applied knowledge. Today, when you look at various opportunities available to you, how would you evaluate which opportunity is better than the other one? What would be the criteria that you will apply? Would you look at the CTC as a criteria? I mean, there are 2 competing offers. Which one would you take up? I think the major element of that decision making has to be how is your this opportunity going to help you achieve what you want to achieve eventually? And that is very important. So take responsibility, reflection, and I'll talk about that a little more in one of the later slides. And renewal, continuously learning new is very important. In fact, my father, he had one education and one job throughout his life. I also have one education, but probably multiple roles in my career of 35 years. A large part of that was my own practice. The next generation will not only have multiple jobs, but may perhaps require multiple education, because the knowledge is also getting outdated very soon. So that's the kind of area, I mean, the era or environment that we are going to, face. One other area which I feel, and that was the reflection part of it, which I feel is never taught to us, is how do we think? Are we thinking about our thinking? Just think about that. And how can we think better? So, thinking is a mix of logic and emotion. And at times there is no formal training given to us as to how do we maintain the balance. And failure to think clearly, or cognitive bias as they call it, is the reason for a lot of failures. And there is this Anthony Robbins, in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, he is given the concept of, pain and pleasure principle. And this is very powerful framework because many times the decision that we take are, influenced, because every human being, whatever action they take, is driven by one of the two motivations, either to seek pleasure or to avoid pain. It's a simple pain-pleasure theory. But a lot of time, when you were studying hard, you were, sacrificing on watching movies, watching a lot of serials, your friends would have enjoyed, partied hard. You were not. So you were willing to sacrifice short-term pleasure for a long-term gain. Have you seen somebody smoking a cigarette? What kind of a pleasure that person is deriving at that stage, right? The instant short-term pleasure. But he is oblivious of the long-term pain, even though it is there on the packet of the cigarette. So it's very simple that, anything and everything that you would do, you will have to keep that little long-term perspective in mind. Don't say that in long term everybody is dead, which is true. But at the same time, having this perspective helps. So engaging in critical thinking. In fact, I find Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, or even Art of Thinking Clearly. This is a book that has appealed to me a lot. Rolf Dobelli has written this book, wherein he talks about 99, fallacies or thinking traps, as I would call. And so it really helps to think about our thinking, reflecting on that, and see how we can think better. In fact, meditation is also one way in which we can calm our mind down, because most of the time we are not responding, we are reacting. So convert our reaction to response. That conversion is very important. Now, what I find is it is very important that while so far, all your focus has been on studies, and when you get into job, you will also get entangled into a lot of day-to-day tasks. And it is important that you develop a macro perspective. That is very important because it involves cultivating a broad and holistic understanding of various interconnected factors that influence events, trends, and systems on a larger scale. It helps us put together a framework for decision making. To give you example, the next issue that comes up is, for example, are you abreast of what is happening in global versus Indian economic performance? How is global economy behaving? What is happening to job markets in US? What is happening to current account deficits? What is happening in China? What is happening in Germany, for example? What is happening to energy prices, specifically crude oil prices? Are you familiar with all of this? Are you familiar with population trends in various developed and developing countries? India is a country with the largest proportion of young population, for example. Are you keeping a track of all of this? It is important. For example, one of the question will come to you, should we choose career in India or should we look at migrating to Canada? Now, how would you take that decision? Largely, it is driven by emotions. Greener pastures, let's go there. My friends have gone there. So is it based on data or some structured analytical process? For example, what would be, I'll give you one example. A cousin of mine, he migrated to London in mid 2005 or 6 thereabout. He joined PwC there. He was with Deloitte here. Then post KPMG, changed couple of jobs. Initially, it was fantastic. He had a house with a pond, a car, BMW, and all of that. But today, people in that same batch who have risen to the ranks of partner within Deloitte probably are financially better off than that person in UK. There is job insecurity as well. And a lot of other issues and challenges that come about. So, I wouldn't say don't go there. I mean, it depends on every individual's personal situation. A lot of facts are important to be factored in, but take a very, I would say, structured approach to that decision-making process. Don't just decide based on, because most of the times we tend to take decisions driven through emotions. Try and reason that out. Make sure that logic, emotions are important. And I wouldn't say don't look at them at all, but ensure that 70-80% is logic, balance is emotions. Studying history, studying geopolitics, all of this will help you develop that macro picture. It is also very important to understand how businesses succeed or fail. For example, how many of you have read a listed company balance sheet? How many of you have read MADP in detail? How many of you have read a balance sheet of a company listed outside India? Now, this is very important because you need to understand how businesses work. Most significant businesses are in public domain. Their balance sheets are being published every quarter. There are analyst research report. Those are also available in public domain. You should identify. In fact, Professor Deepak C. Jain, who was dean of Kellogg's as well as INSEAD, some of the leading business schools in the world. He was taking a session for us at Deloitte, and he came out with this very interesting proposition. He said that everyone must study 2 industries in detail. So identify 2 industries which you want to track. Within that, those 2 industries, track 2 companies. So 2 by 2, you will be tracking, as such 4 companies. You need to know everything about those companies and those industries in and out. What makes them successful? What makes them, not so successful? I'll give you an example. If you are tracking a company, for example, you can set a Google alert. Every time there is something on the web, there will be a email pushed into your inbox so that and you don't have to keep searching for it, as an example. In fact, industry specialization is becoming a norm in most of the big fours. even though you may be a tax professional, you are expected to know one or at max two industries. So the industry knowledge is also becoming very, very important. And a lot of that knowledge helps you also understand a lot more when you, get into your own business, or, these days, a lot of CFOs become CEOs and so on and so forth. Having that business perspective, cultivating that business perspective is very important. In fact, whenever you take up job, you take that job as an opportunity to do on the job MBA. Because, don't just do your day job. You also look at what is making that company successful or not so successful. You have to keep your antennas very sharp. One of the, obviously trend that you need to know is about technology. How is technology impacting business? And we know, for example, Amazon has completely transformed the way businesses get done. A lot of businesses go out of fashion. I mean, as technology keeps changing. For example, video shops. I don't know how many of you have even seen a video shop, video library, for example. I mean, when I was young, probably there was tons of video libraries across every corner. It's difficult to now find one as well in whole of India. Alvin Toffler, he used to be a futurologist, no more. In one of his last book, Revolutionary Wealth, he talks about clash of speeds. And he says that in society, there are various elements that keep changing, but at different speed. And therefore, that results into kind of a friction. So he compared the rate of change with automobile going on a highway. So in case of business, the rate at which businesses are changing is like an automobile running at 100 miles an hour. Whereas education would be changing at 30 miles an hour. Government may be changing at 10 miles an hour. Judiciary may be changing at 5 miles an hour. And legislation, the enactment of new laws, is changing at 1 mile an hour. So that's the friction. I was the other day, passing by a metro pillar, and there was some accident also recently. We read about it. Now, there is a Railways Act. I have not heard whether that Railway Act is going to be applied to metro also, or is there a separate law to govern the metro? So idea is that a lot of changes happen now. Internet and the whole digital era has been there for a while. It has taken so many years for government to come up with a good data protection law, and even then it may not be perfect. In fact, Sanjeev Sanyal talks of very interesting. He says that nowadays, forget about having a perfect law on one go. We had Companies Act 1956, which remained on statute till 2013 with minimum changes. But the new law 13 has undergone changes, probably more than what 1956 law saw the changes. So that's the kind of environment, because it's becoming very dynamic. And in that, you need to keep track of what is happening. In US, they call it FANG. It used to be called FANG stocks. So those are the 5 largest technology stocks. And if you keep track of what is happening, if you read their financials or their management analysis, etc., you will be able to keep track of what's happening. So the FANG used to be Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, Google, but now it's called MAMA. Meta, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and Alphabet, because Google has been renamed Alphabet. So MAMA stocks is what you need to track about. In fact, professions are equally getting impacted by technology. In fact, Chirag in his address did refer to lawyers or judges being replaced by robots, or even medical diagnosis. Stanford ran an experiment where they fed large set of data around skin cancer into a computer, and it was able to give a better diagnosis compared to a human doctor. Because a human doctor in their entire career would have covered 500 cases, whereas the computer database had access to 5 lakh cases. So So that's how, and this is also going to impact a lot of professions. Lawyers, doctors is one, but even accountants. The way, the government is now asking for, I don't know how many of you would have seen AIS, TIS. Tumhara pura chitta unke paas hai. So the way accounting happens is going to undergo change. I mean, today we have to, do a lot of things manually. For example, one of my team members have automated that entire accounting in such a way that from books to bank portal and payment back into books to reconciliation to intimation to vendors, all is automated. No human intervention required. One of my other colleagues is working on a OCR technology where the OCR technology would read invoice and determine which account to be debited, what TDS to be applied, what input credit available, eligibility, everything. An invoice should undergo almost 100 plus checks. If you put an AP clerk, an executive or a BCom guy, would he be in a consistent manner be able to apply those 100 checks, even if you give a proper checklist to him? It's going to be impossible. So all these processes will become, automated sooner or later. So the important thing is for you to see how best you can pick up a job where it will help you evolve better. One typical question that comes up is practice versus industry, right? What I find is at times, and of course, in my case, I never knew what it was like to be in practice, and I jumped into practice without knowing P of practice. In fact, I typically ask questions that, how many of you have heard about Peter Drucker, for example? Have you heard of Peter Drucker? So, in a batch which is a little more experienced, they would have about 40% would say, yes, we have heard of Peter Drucker. He's called Guru of Management. Amazing, personality. I mean, of course, he's no more, but he's left tons of management related material. I also asked then a question that, have you heard of Michael Porter? Michael Porter is strategy guru. Competitive Advantage is one of his book. Philip Kotler, again, people have probably heard about him. He's a marketing guru, and there was in a few years ago some controversy about Mr. Kotler endorsing Mr. Modi's marketing, and there was some criticism about Mr. Kotler. But when I ask a question, have you heard of David Meister? Nobody has heard of him. Now, David Meister is guru of professional services management. He's also no more, but some of the work that he's written is amazing. So if you ever want to be part of a professional services firm or want to set up your own firm, then read David Meister. He has written a book, Managing a Professional Services Firm, which is amazing. In fact, he talks about the value proposition. Why would a client come to a professional services firm? And he buckets them into 4 areas. One of them could be commodity service. Client is just interested in a cheaper price service. Then it could be, procedural work, or compliance work. So client comes to you for compliance work, where he needs more accuracy. But at the same time, he's also looking for price efficiency. Then he might come to you for your experience, gray hair. Are you experienced? When you go to a surgeon and you would ask, sir, आपने पहले इतना किया होगा ना surgery? And if he says, नहीं, मैंने रोबो के साथ किया हुआ है या मैंने इसका पढ़ाई किया है, but मैंने actual surgery आप पहले हो, तो क्या होगा? Right? अगर किसी के घर पे रेड हो गई और आप बोलोगे, वो आपके पास आएगा क्लाइंट, आप बोलोगे, हाँ मैंने सब पढ़ाई किया है, वो सेक्शन 133 सब रट्टा मारा है, बट मुझे प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है, तो क्या होगा? So there are, value proposition would be your experience. And how do you get into that bracket? So there could be a lot of discussion around that. And last is rocket science or expertise. Now, it's not that expertise is the best model and efficiency is the least value. You have to actually organize, because in a professional services firm, there are 3 broad levers it is all about margin, productivity, and leverage. And, today is not the time to talk about that because it will take some more time. But, these are the leverage, and you need to understand the nitty-gritties. In fact, even in a big four, in our firm, I also keep talking to a lot of managers getting promoted as senior managers or senior managers getting promoted as directors. And I take sessions with them also. And, funnily, there is one lady in UK called Heather Townsend. She's written a book, How to Become a Partner in a Big Four. And nobody's heard about it, but amazing. She runs a proper coaching program around it. Nothing in that book is a rocket science, but it is very structured approach that comes to you. How do you develop all your cash areas? And how do you put them into practice? So you will find a lot of that. In fact, her first chapter starts with the question that the latest ad of Neena Gupta, I forget the questions. Who am I? She asks, right? The cred ad. And why am I here? And that fellow says. So those are the questions that are important. And in a very structured way, she's put those questions. Some of those questions are available in free domain. If you search enough, you will be able to find that. We are all finance professionals, right? We have earned a degree in finance. But do we understand psychology of money enough? I find at times most chartered accountants are very careless at their personal finance management. And therefore, it is very important to understand the psychology of money. This is a title of a book by Morgan Housel. So very important. You need to, look at your personal finance, investing, and how companies succeed. These are all very important. And because, we tend to ignore a lot of these in our day-to-day priorities. We don't look at this so closely. So with that, I'll come to the last part of it. And that is, while career and everything is important, it is very important to, understand what is the purpose. What are my priorities? And what I find is at times there is this confusion between what I call as means goal and end goal. There is that confusion. And I'll give you an example, a very simple example. Money. Money is means goal or end goal? Simple, right? But if someone treats money as the end goal, what happens? Because with money, you can buy happiness, for example. Right? So money is a means goal. Because without money, you can't be happy. And let's be very practical about it. But if money becomes the end goal and you lose sight of happiness, you will have a lot of money, but a lot of unhappiness. Is that worth it? Again, these are now 20, 30 years, which will be very crucial for you to, take care of your health right now. Don't wait till you grow 40, 50 and all of that. If you tend to ignore your health during this 20, 30 years, what will happen? When you will have money, you will not have health to enjoy that money. So be very clear about your priorities in life. In fact, there is this shloka from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which I like very much, which says, Atho khallahu kamamaya evaya purusha iti sa yatha kamo bhavati tatkrut turbhavati yatkrut turbhavati tatkarma kurute yatkarma kurute tadbhid sampadayate. You are what your deep driving desire is. You are what your deep driving desire is. As your desire is, so is your will. Your desire will lead to that willpower. As your will is, so is your deed, karma. Karma will come from your willpower. And as your deed is, so is your destiny. So your destiny is in your hand. Thank you very much, friends. Happy to take any question. Just go back to the one insight which I'll like to repeat, which is focus on inputs and processes rather than end goals. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nitin Bhai. I'm sure a lot of tips the audience has received, and they will definitely want to connect with you and understand more. So I hope you will stay after the felicitation program, so a few of those who want to connect with you also get a chance. May I now invite Vivek to please address all of us?
Yeah, Preeti, just one moment. Yeah, I'm also there on LinkedIn. My first name, last name, you can connect with me or at gmail.com, first name dot last name at gmail. Drop any questions you may have if, later on you come across it.
Like everyone, I will also take the opportunity to congratulate all of you all. And like everyone, I'm sure you've never had 5 people addressing the same thing and congratulating you for the same thing. But since 4 have done, it is my duty as the 5th person also to congratulate you. So, a lot of people will tell you, you should enjoy the journey, not the destination. मैं बोलता हूँ CA करो, तब पता चलेगा. How good is the journey and how good is the destination. But in spite of that, CA की जो finishing line cross करने के बाद भी, okay, the journey only continues. So वो जो destination था, that destination is no longer the destination. The destination is now your journey, and you chose it. Nobody forced you. मतलब 5 साल मेहनत करो, दिन में 2 बार क्लासेस में जाओ, 3 साल आर्टिकलशिप करो, मल्टीपल अटेम्प्ट्स दो, जिसने मल्टीपल दी, वरना फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में जो हो गए, कांग्रेचुलेशंस टू यू ऑल आल्सो. मतलब मैं तो कोई फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट में पास नहीं हुआ था. And I think just the way people say age is just a number, number of attempts is also just a number. If a person who cleared in the 4th attempt comes and speaks in front of people who come in who've crossed in the first attempt, I think it is actually just a number. ठीक है? मतलब कई बार आप जब interviews में जाओगे ना, they will ask you how many attempts. It's okay, let them ask. It's okay. That's fine. But the day when you become a partner of that firm, you can go back to that HR and ask them, did it matter? So I think what is important is how we perform after becoming a chartered accountant. Matlab, number of attempts, though it is important, it is important only up to a certain level, not beyond a level, right? Of course, I don't try to demean the ones who've cleared in the first attempt because it is actually an achievement. But having said that, how you pursue your growth after that will determine whether you become a partner before that person or not, if you are in the Big Four setup, hypothetically. So, just after clearing chartered accountancy as an examination, most of us present over here would have 2 options. Can you all guess? Sorry? Practice job, okay. Anything else? Now, what if I told you practice job was one option only? Now, what's the second one then? Business, okay. All right, so here we go. A lot of people who don't have clarity in life, okay, they will say कि और पढ़ाई करते चलो और 2 साल कर लो कुछ. And I didn't make this up. I've got this over here. मतलब आपके questions यहाँ पे है मेरे पास. So a lot of people I have asked, should they continue with CISA, DISA, CFA, CPA, FRM, CA, CISSP, or should they continue with CS, CMA, LLB, or FAFD, or any other multiple diploma courses which are there with the institute? Okay. So my point is, better get your stuff sorted right now. ठीक है, मतलब ज्यादा टाइम वेस्ट मत करो सोचने में कि और आगे क्या पढ़ाई करनी है. And never select additional education just because you're not clear about what you want to do in life. I was invited by one of the colleges, and there was a teacher the HOD of the accounting department who was retiring on that occasion. She served for 39 years as a teacher of the college. And she said the biggest mistake that a lot of people make is that they are not clear as to what they want to do. 12th में आपको पता है कि आपको BCom करना है. BCom के बाद आपको पता था कि आपको CA करना है, लेकिन कई लोगों को नहीं पता होता है. So वो लोग बोलते चलो MCom करते हैं. MCom हो गया, उसके बाद और कोई कोर्स कर लेंगे, उसके बाद डिप्लोमा, उसके बाद और कोई डिग्री. Okay, and they actually lose out on learning something which is really very important, which is practical knowledge. Most of us over here will agree that मतलब कि आपके पास अब तो डिग्री भी है, कि आपके पास बुक नॉलेज तो है. And most of us will agree that we have some practical knowledge unless someone's done dummy over here, मतलब. हाँ. So अगर dummy नहीं किया तो मतलब आपके पास practical knowledge भी है. That is enough to go out in the world and start achieving what you want to achieve. So and if you want to continue studying, तो काम के साथ continue करो. मतलब और 2 साल सिर्फ सोचने के लिए मत निकाल दो, because you already spent quite a lot of time doing CA. And then coming to the second part. Coming to the second part is to start working. Now, when we talk about start working, some will say job करे या practice करे, industry में जाए या किसी CA firm में job करे, खुद का business करे या family business करे, startup करे या ना करे. Should we have your own firm, own practice, or should you join a legacy firm if you already have a legacy firm? Matlab, not everyone is privileged to have a legacy firm, and surely I was not one of them. I had to start off by myself. And when I talk about, I'll divert from this point. When I started my firm, I had 0 clients, okay? And I thought probably my friends, family, and relatives would give me some work, but they were the first ones not to give. Dale ke sab pata chal jayega isko. And to be honest, speaking right from my heart, okay, for the first 3 months, I had 0 assignments. Matlab, roz subah jao. I used to sit in my uncle's office, go every morning, okay, open the laptop and see what people are doing in the world on social media websites. Okay, tabhi Instagram to utna nahi tha, so there were no reels at that time. But at that time, there were posts only, matlab static posts. Videos bhi utne penetrated nahi the, jitne aaj hai. And the biggest worry was not when would I start earning. The biggest worry was what would I go home and tell my parents? कि आज क्या किया? 4 लोगों ने वेकेशन की इटली में, 5 लोग स्विट्जरलैंड गए थे और 10 लोग केरला में. The most perplexing thought which I would have at that time was, what did you do today? That was my worry. But thankfully, I would go home late. And I would say, आज बहुत ज़्यादा काम था. And yes, and I would call all my friends over and I would say, come, let's meet somewhere. कहीं जाते कुछ खाते बातें करते. But anyways, hard times were really difficult, and you have to come through it. And for those who want to get into practice, my honest suggestion to all of you all is that you should first determine how important is it to contribute to the family finances at present. Okay, if there is a need to contribute to the family finances at present, then I would suggest you should reconsider whether you should join practice or not. Then probably look for some other options. And in case if you think you don't need to contribute immediately, matlab 1 saal, 2 saal, 3 saal, hopefully by the end of the 3rd year, you will have clarity whether practice is working or not. At least in my case, it was. As in, not whether practice was working or not, I was clear that I can work over here. So having said that, if you can invest 1,000 days, that's the benchmark. So 3 saal gino ya plus minus thoda bahut gin lo. If you can invest 1,000 days as a gestation period, then practice is definitely meant for each one of you all over here. Not to discourage anyone who wants to get into practice, but it should not be that the reality hits you hard at a later stage. Better be prepared before you enter the game. And then the question is about a legacy firm, right? Like if some of you all have a legacy firm, 2nd generation, 3rd generation, and in fact, in the previous one, there was someone from the 4th generation CA firm also last year. So if you have that, then I think it's a little less of a decision that you've got to make, right? मतलब आपके घर वालों ने आपको कोर्स सिलेक्ट करने का चॉइस नहीं दिया, तो मतलब आप थोड़ी आपको ऑप्शन देने वाले. And yes, and somebody has even mentioned about joining UPSC or politics. So, अगर नेतागिरी करनी है तो अच्छा ही है. It's good. In case if you actually want to get into active politics, please take my number right now. Not that I want to join, but in case if you rise up the ranks, I'll have easy access to you at a future point. And you never know, maybe some of you all would become assistant commissioners of income tax also, if you all become IRS officers, or deputy collectors if you become IAS officers, or foreign secretary consulates if you join foreign services. But having said that, अगर यूपीएससी में सीरियसली कोई जाने का सोच रहा है तो मेरा नंबर तो एटलीस्ट आप ले लीजिए, ताकि अगर मैं कभी फ्यूचर में आपको फोन करूं तो आप फोन उठा लोगे एक ही रिंग में. Then going ahead, I think becoming chartered accountant, I think is fairly an easier task. Matlab, the good part is over. Now let's get to the tough part. So I think you need to discuss with a lot of people as to what you want to do. Reach out to as many people as you can. Like reach out to, मतलब अगर आपको कोई आपके परिवार में दूर दूर का भी अगर कोई सीए है ना, just reach out to that person and take advice. Listen to everyone, but do what you feel is appropriate. Take as many inputs as you can. मतलब AI की भाषा में कहते हैं ना that the larger the data set, the better is the output. So actually that works for the brain as well. Make your data set so large, okay, that you can take an informed decision. Debate with people. Why job, why practice? Seek help and get mentored. BCAS has a beautiful mentoring program run by this committee only, and you will have access to the best of the best mentors with a click of a button. So get mentored and seek advice from people who are already successful in that field. अगर आपको इंडस्ट्री में जाना है तो try to find a mentor who's a CFO. अगर आपको प्रैक्टिस में जाना है तो try to reach out to a partner of a very successful professional services firm. अगर आपको स्टार्टअप्स में जाना है तो go to someone who's really successful in his or her own startup. So try to find a very good mentor, because mentoring will make your journey a little easier. I won't say it's shorter. It's a short way to success, but it's definitely easier. And finally, मतलब कई बार लोग सोचते हैं कि चाहे कुछ भी कर ले, whether you get into practice, whether you get into industry, whether you get into traditional areas of practice or emerging areas of practice. Ultimately, one thing that you have to be very clear about is to make a lot of money. ठीक है, मतलब ऐसे and I personally believe making money is a very good thing. When good people make money, the outcomes are even better. Like imagine, we are that one particular vote bank in the country. कितने लोगों ने इनकम टैक्स की वेबसाइट का ट्विटर हैंडल फॉलो कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? How many returns were filed? Roughly 6 crores 40 lakhs approximately. How many were filed with zero tax? Approximately 4.5 to 5 crores. So we actually are going to represent a community or a tribe which has got no reservation, but we are the ones which are going to contribute towards 100% of the finances of the country. So having said that, making money is a very good thing, and each one of us should make a lot of it. मतलब आज तक मैं तो शायद आज तक किसी को ऐसे नहीं मिला who said that I don't want to make money, unless they've given up worldly pleasures and have taken up sannyas or something. That's a separate thing. But अगर आपने चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंसी करके यहाँ तक आए हो तो मतलब I think that is as sir would say, it's not it is a means, it's not the end point. Which one? हाँ. I did say somewhere politics and sannyas. I think in today's day and age, politics is not for service and probably sannyas is not for peace of life. And this is the fact of life actually. So having said that, you should try and understand what is the amount of effort that you're going to put versus what is the reward that you're going to make, versus the balance, work-life balance. आपने कई बार सुना होगा ना? है इंडिया में? How can you say it with so much confidence? I have principles over here. Having said that, India does not respect much of work-life balance. मतलब anyone can call you at any point of time in the night also and say कि इसकी फाइल दे दीजिए, इसका डॉक्यूमेंट दे दीजिए, इसकी ईमेल में क्या लिखा था. That's fine. But even your clients will call you as a professional. अच्छा इसमें क्या है, लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन रेट का क्या है, टीडीएस कितना कटता है, लास्ट टाइम कितनी इनकम थी, वो भी है. सो ऑन बोथ साइड्स, ओके, it's not just whether you're in a job setup or you're in a practice setup or an industry setup or a business setup. India as such and per se does not respect something called as work-life balance. So you've got to make your own choices. ठीक है, मतलब आपको कितना entertain करना है या नहीं करना है. Like I actually take calls for almost 18 hours a day because of different geographies in which my clients are. So I actually take calls 18 hours a day. But to each his own. To each his own. And then comes the point about failing early in life. कितने लोग एक अटेम्प्ट से ज्यादा दिए, मतलब thank God. You guys actually, So just for those who've joined virtually, I think 80% of us raised hands over here, including me. All right. So thank God you all have failed because you know what failure is. You know how to deal with failure. And unfortunately, for those who've never failed in life, they will not know what failure is. They will not know how to handle failure. मतलब आपने वो hit button दबाया, आपका रोल नंबर डाल कर जब आपने देखा fail and no exemption also. But still, you picked up your book the next day. You went to the library, you went to your workplace and you started studying again. Means you know how to handle failure, which is very important. And the earlier you fail, not that you have to deliberately fail, but the earlier you fail, the opportunity cost is much lower. Much lower. Making a mistake in the first year of articleship is fine. आपको थोड़ी पता है क्या है, मतलब आप सीखने ही तो आए हो. But making the same mistake in the third year of articleship is not fine because you are expected, आपको पता है. And making any mistake after becoming chartered accountant is criminal in nature. One of my clients once asked me, just CA pass हुआ था, मतलब just pass होके immediately practice चालू की थी. One of my clients asked me, Vivek bhai, what is the rate of stamp duty and what is the latest notification for exemption of stamp duty in the state of Maharashtra? I said it was never part of syllabus. मुझे नहीं पता. So they're like, अरे आप तो CA हो यार. हमने agreed. And उस time तो chat GPT भी नहीं था. So I think failing early in life is very important. And hats off to anyone who failed and then has succeeded because now you know how to handle failure. So even if you have to make mistakes early in your life for your own career, it is fine. आपने audit join कर लिया और बाद में पता चला audit तो पसंद ही नहीं, कुछ पल्ले ही नहीं पड़ता. But क्या करें, opening उसमें थी. If you go for a job interview and they say we have 25 openings for audit, even if you like tax, you will say no, I like audit. I only like finalization. I only like voucher and verification. So if you get a chance, a lot of people, there were some questions related to switching profile also. So I think that's also fine. But eventually I would say that do what you love and love what you do. How many of you agree with that? By a show of hands? Okay. Now do what you love and love what you do does not mean you'll keep on making reels on Instagram. Okay. You love that. Some of you all will make money with selling reels also. मतलब paid partnership करके आप पैसा भी बना लोगे. But that's not what we've come over here for today, right? मतलब content creator बनने के लिए थोड़ी यहाँ पे आए. So when I say do what you love and love what you do, I'm sure most of you all will agree that it is about following your passion. And that passion doesn't mean creating travel vlogs or creating Instagram stories or making reels all day on Instagram. But if you really like tax, okay, pursue taxation. If you really like M&A, not sure whether you'll get a chance to pursue that or not because there are very few openings in that. Let's be realistic. सब लोग बोलेंगे investment banking करना है. ठीक है, पहले 3 साल तक आप सिर्फ नंबर क्रंचिंग करोगे एक्सेल पे और कुछ नहीं करोगे उसमें. You think you'll go and sit on the VC's table and they'll give you deals to close worth 10,000 crore rupees. Okay, ऐसा नहीं होना. It's a fact check. मतलब come back to senses. So, if you really like doing that, then spend 3 years doing that. But if you don't like it, my genuine suggestion to each one of you all is don't run behind the money at an early stage because if you're stuck with it, okay, the growth will be stunted. मतलब of course eventually आप chartered accountant हो, you'll make ends meet, you'll do whatever is required to be done. मतलब आप वो कर लोगे. मतलब जितने भी वो check boxes होते हैं ना वो assessment के, you'll fit in all of those check boxes. But beyond a point, I don't see you being happy over there. And being happy, I think, is very important. कई बार आपने ऐसे Instagram पे stories वगैरह देखी होगी और वो जय शेट्टी करके कोई है speaker who says that a teacher asked, what do you want to be? Someone said, I want to be a scientist. Someone said, I want to be an astronomer. I want to be XYZ. And one boy says, I want to be happy. Okay, so the teacher says, son, I don't think you've understood the question. And the son says that, I don't think, teacher, you've understood life. Okay, मतलब वो सब ठीक है. But that's actually true. If you're stuck with one particular profile that you don't like for the rest of your life, you may make money, मतलब पैसा बना लोगे, ठीक है? But you won't be happy. So do what you love and love what you do is my suggestion to all of you all over here and make the right choices. मतलब शायद आपको अभी का भी job नहीं मिले. Okay? ले लीजिए एक बार if the need is, but always look out for something that will give you happiness. And at the end of the day, you should have that passion कि कल वापस आना है. ऐसा नहीं कि अरे यार कल वापस आना है. Huge difference. Same words, different emotion. Someone even asked in this question is about switching profiles. Again, switching profiles early in your career is very good, okay, because opportunity cost is relatively less. आपने 10 साल ऑडिट में किया और उसके बाद आप बोलोगे कि अभी आपको ट्रांजैक्शन स्ट्रक्चरिंग टीम में जाना है. They may not necessarily give you credit for having worked for 10 years. अगर आप 10 साल टैक्स में और उसके बाद आप बोलते हो कि अभी आपको ऑडिट में स्विच होना है, they may not necessarily give you credit for having worked for 10 years in a particular field. But if you work for 7 months, 8 months, 12 months for audit, and then you think, nahi, audit is not my cup of tea. कुछ पल्ले नहीं पड़ता. Tax में ही जाना है. I only understand tax. So make that switch early on in your career because the opportunity cost is less and the career growth will be higher in the field that you really enjoy doing your work in. Sir also spoke about global opportunities. So over here, I think an Indian chartered accountant is very well respected across the world. Not just because you and I are chartered accountant. I'm not trying to blow our own trumpet over here, but genuinely they are very well respected. चाहे आप US में जाओ, Canada में जाओ, चाहे आप Gulf में जाओ, चाहे Australia में जाओ, Europe में जाओ, wherever you go, they're well respected because we've come through a particular system. Like मतलब वो एक grind है, एक hustle है. We've come out of that. So that is why Indian chartered accountants are well respected. And of course, and we have Indian diaspora almost everywhere. Well, we have 143 crores, as sir just mentioned some time ago. So we are so many that even if we go to any other country, we almost like colonize it. I'm sure that's not the correct word, but I'm sure you got the emotion that I'm trying to say. मतलब हम जहां भी जाएंगे, वहां पे एक इंडियन रेस्टोरेंट तो आ ही जाएगी, इंडियन क्लब होगा ही, इंडियन व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स बने ही होते हैं. So opportunities abroad are also very good. And this is what I generally tell people that if you think it's the correct opportunity, earn in dollars and spend in rupees. That's where you will really create the value for your own self and for your family. Now coming to business, some of us may even want to get into business and some of us may already be having businesses. Matlab Aman Gupta is one very good example of what business is, right? Chartered accountant. अपने जैसा. Nobody asked him कितनी attempts आपने clear की. But having said that, he used to work for one particular brand earlier as a director, learned the tricks of the trade, started his own brand. And today he's $1 billion plus, right? So if you are solving a real life problem or a real world problem, okay, business is also a very good option. Very, to a large extent, ignored by professionals like us. मतलब हमें लगता है कि हमने डिग्री ले ली है तो हम पूरी जिंदगी कंसल्टिंग ही करते रहेंगे. But the amount of knowledge that we have, the way we have been trained, the way we've been taught, it actually gives us a good head start as far as the other competition is concerned, which is in business. The way we can analyze things, the way we can look at things, the way we can manage, plan, and we also understand taxes, right? Matlab, a lot of people don't understand taxes. So if you can solve a real world problem, I think business is meant for you. And yeah, about making money, always know what is your opportunity cost. What if you were in job and not in practice? And what if you were in practice and not in job? And what if you were in politics? Well, उसमें तो क्या opportunity cost? मतलब उसमें तो the ROI could be much higher, maybe at a later stage, but the way we calculate, right? The CAGR. So CAGR will be enormous by the end of it. Yeah, and ultimately what really matters is growth. ठीक है, मतलब year on year, if you were to ask a question to yourself, okay, have you grown or have you not grown? I think the answer should be the first for everyone. Year on year. So are you guys ready? But for what? वो तो पूछा ही नहीं किसी ने. So are you guys ready to be the goat that everyone knows? Yes, no, maybe. अब yes बोलो. I was actually going to put only one picture of one person which I consider as goat, but I didn't want to divide the house over here. कि इसका फोटो क्यों और उसका क्यों नहीं? तो मैंने दोनों का साथ में फोटो डाल दिया. So thank you very much. The easiest way to reach out to me is you can write to me, connect with me on LinkedIn. That's my handle. And from 14th to 19th August, if any of you guys have any questions, I have kept a 1 hour slot, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. 4 slots, 15 minutes each. You guys can click on this link and book an appointment with me, and I'll be very happy to address all your questions. The reason for doing this is because I will be leaving a little earlier compared to, and I will not be staying back quite late. So what I thought is you could book a slot over here and you could ask your questions over there. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was a vibrant session. And are there any questions that anybody in the audience would like to ask? We'll just take one or two because we do want to also start the felicitation program. So is there anyone who has a question for our speakers? So this is the moment, right? And I see so many of you so smartly turned out in your jackets, ready for that picture, right? So I know all of us have faced a lot of challenges in clearing this exam. One person who I think has probably, faced a lot more challenges than all of us here is here in the audience. He's come specially from Nashik only for this event. We are extremely grateful for him coming here. Uday Bhai, can you please come and introduce him to the audience?
मी 2 मिनिटं मराठीत बोलणार आहे. शुभम निघुते ह्या नावाचा आता सीए झालेला मुलगा आज आपल्यामध्ये आहे. मी मगाशी तुम्हाला म्हटलं की तुम्हाला आता चॅलेंजेस खूप आहेत, पण तो चॅलेंजेस फेस करत करत ह्या ठिकाणी पोहोचलेला आहे. त्यामुळे त्याचं मनपूर्वक पुन्हा एकदा अभिनंदन. आपण एक मराठीमध्ये म्हण आहे, प्रयत्ने वाळूचे कण रगडिता तेलही गळे. त्याचा अर्थ की वाळू जी हातामध्ये घेतल्यावर सटकते तर त्याचे कण तुम्ही पेळणार कसे. पण ह्या मुलाला आपल्यासारखे हात नसूनही त्यांनी कदाचित रायटरची मदत घेतली असेल, पण आत्ता त्यांनी त्याचं नाव जेव्हा मोबाईलमध्ये मेसेज केलं ते त्यांनी त्याच्या असलेल्या हाताने केलं. ही अतिशय कौतुकाची गोष्ट आहे. तर मी प्रेसिडेंट चिरागला विनंती करतो की त्याला फेलिसिटेट करावं आणि त्याला आम्ही BCA ची मेंबरशिप, ऑनररी मेंबरशिप देतोय.
हॅलो एव्हरीवन. म्हणजे सुरुवात अशी करावीशी वाटते की आर्टिकलशिप मध्ये माझ्या BCAJ चे जर्नल वाचल्यापासून तर आज इथे BCAJ च्या डायरेक्ट हेड ऑफिसच्या पोडियम वरती बसण्यापर्यंत. तर तुम्ही सगळे बघू शकता दोन्ही हात नाहीयेत. माझा ऍक्सिडेंट झालेला 2010 मध्ये. ज्या ऍक्सिडेंट मध्ये एवढा सिव्हिअर ऍक्सिडेंट होता ज्याच्यामध्ये डॉक्टरांनी डायरेक्टली माझे जे बोन्स होते त्याचं कोळसा काढलेला, काढलेला टोटल. तर त्या मुवमेंट पासन तर आतापर्यंत माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये खूप असे प्रॉब्लेम्स येऊन गेलेत जे मी तुम्हाला जर एक्सप्लेन केले तर कमीत कमी आपला 1-1.5 तास निघून जाईल. आणि इवन ही आणखीन एक मेजर प्रॉब्लेम ही असं झाला. आता ही गोष्ट मला या ठिकाणी सांगायची नव्हती, पण मी आज माझ्या बाबांना भेटायला आलो होतो. खरे म्हणजे जस्ट आपला रिझल्ट लागला 5 तारखेला, 5 जुलैला. आणि माझे वडील ज्यांची इच्छा होती की त्यांच्या मुलाला CA होताना बघायचंय. प्रत्येक आई वडिलांची इच्छा असते आपल्या सगळ्यांच्या की त्यांच्या मुलाला सक्सेस मिळताना बघायचंय. आणि आमच्याकडे कसं गावाकडे ट्रेंड असतो एक, CA झालं की त्याचे गावभर पोस्टर्स लागतात, डायरेक्टली फ्लेक्स लागतात, न्यूज मध्ये येतं. सेम इच्छा माझ्या बाबांची सुद्धा होती. तर या कंडिशन मध्ये सुद्धा माझे बाबा या लेवल पर्यंत होते की 5 तारखेला आपला रिझल्ट लागला आणि 15 तारखेला माझे बाबा एक्सपायर झाले. त्याच्यामुळे मी आज खरं तर माझ्या वडिलांना भेटायला आलेलो आहे. माझे बाबा इथेच परेल टाटा हॉस्पिटलमध्ये एक्सपायर झाले होते. तर मी आज त्या मोमेंट मध्ये एन्जॉय करताना मी तिथेही त्यांना सांगून आलेलो आहे. ऍक्च्युली जेव्हा बाबा इथे 2 महिने ऍडमिट होते तेव्हा मी त्यांना सांगितलेलं होतं, परेल हॉस्पिटलचं ऍक्च्युली बॅक साईडला डेलॉइटचं ऑफिस आहे. तर मी त्यांना लिटरली सांगितलं, बाबा मी ज्या दिवशी CA होईल ना तुमची टोटल 8-9 महिन्याची ट्रीटमेंट चालूच पर्यंत मी याच ऑफिसमध्ये काम करेल. आणि टू बी ऑनेस्ट विथ यू, इफ एव्हरीथिंग गोज वेल, माय ओनली पार्टनर राउंड इज पेंडिंग ॲट डेलॉइट in USI. So So thank you everyone for inviting me over here. मी त्या अशा इमोशन्स मधनं पास करतोय की मी जास्त काही बोलू शकत नाही या मोमेंट वरती. कारण की प्रत्येक मी जसं म्हटलं प्रत्येक आई वडिलांची इच्छा असते. माझ्याही बाबांची इच्छा होती ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी त्यांना एन्जॉय करायच्या होत्या, पण ते माझ्या नशिबात नव्हतं मे बी की ह्या सगळ्या गोष्टी त्यांनी बघाव्यात. पण होपफुली ते जिथून कुठून बघत असतील ते शुअरली ही मुवमेंट एन्जॉय करत असतील की माझा मुलगा आज एका जवळपास 200 सीए असलेल्या पोरांना ऑडिओ हे करतोय, ऑथर करतोय, त्यांना सांगतोय. आणि सेकंडली आपण सगळे अशा बॅकग्राऊंड मध्ये मिडल क्लास किंवा या बॅकग्राऊंड मधनं आलोय की जेणेकरून आपल्याला प्रत्येकाला एक प्राऊड मोमेंट असते सीए बनणं. आणि जसं सरांनी सांगितलं, मी प्राऊडली सांगतो मी 3rd अटेम्प्ट चार्टर्ड अकाउंटंट आहे. आणि सर इतक्यात म्हटले, मी अजून एक गोष्ट तुम्हाला सांगू इच्छितो. माझा युट्यूब चॅनल सुद्धा आहे ज्याच्यावरती मी लिहितो कसा, इवन मी आजही चॅलेंज लावू शकतो. तुमच्या इथे बसलेल्या सगळ्यांपैकी 95% ऑफ सगळ्यांपेक्षा जास्त माझं हँडरायटिंग बेटर आहे. मी दोन्ही हाताने लिहितो. इवन फोटोग्राफर दादांनी डायरेक्टली विदाऊट विचारता माझा फोटो सुद्धा काढलाय. मी जेव्हा त्या याच्यावरती साईन करत होतो त्यावेळेस त्यांनी इमिजिएटली फोटो क्लिक केलाय. तर इवन कोणाला बघायचे असेल तर मी दाखवू शकतो कसं लिहितो. सेकंड थिंग, मी 4 व्हीलर सुद्धा ड्राईव्ह करतोय विदाऊट एनी कोणाची हेल्प घेता. सो लाईफ मध्ये खूप एक फायनल सांगणार आहे, लाईफ मध्ये सगळ्यांच्या चॅलेंजेस येतात, पण एखाद्या लाईफ मध्ये माझ्या इतके चॅलेंजेस कोणाची येऊ नये हीच फक्त देवाकडे अपेक्षा करतो. आणि तुम्ही म्हणजे मी सीए झालो, मी इवन एक ही गोष्ट सांगतो, मी सीए झालो याचा रिझल्ट मी अजून बघितलेला नाही वेबसाईट वरती जाऊन. ऑनेस्टली सांगतो, माझ्या मित्राने कॉल करून सांगितलंय की तू सीए झालाय, इव्हन तुम्ही मार्क्स सुद्धा ऐकशाल ना माझे. मी फर्स्ट ग्रुप आता दिलेला, सेकंड ग्रुप माझा आधी क्लिअर होता. माझे मार्क्स आलेत 53, 47, 47, 53.200. सो आजही मी अजून रिझल्ट बघितलेला नाही वेबसाईट वरती आणि माझी बघण्याची सुद्धा इच्छा नाही. मी अजूनही तो कॉल रेकॉर्डिंग जेव्हा मला आता ह्या फेज मध्ये गेले 35 दिवस झाले, माझ्या दोन्ही मित्रांनी कॉल करून जेव्हा सांगितलं की कॉल करून ते जोर माझ्यापेक्षा आनंद त्यांना जास्त होत होता, जोर जोरात ओरडून सांगत होते सीए शुभम निघुते, सीए शुभम निघुते. तर ऍट द एंड फक्त एवढंच आहे, इंस्टाग्राम माझ्या लिंक्डइन हँडलला किंवा माझ्या युट्यूब हँडलला सगळे व्हिडिओज अवेलेबल आहेत माझे. तुम्ही तिथेही बघू शकतात कसा लिहितो, कशी गाडी चालवतो वगैरे. आणि मी सीए झालो हे माझं एकट्याचं यश नाहीये. माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये इवन इथे बसण्यापासून तर म्हणजे सीए जर्नी स्टार्ट करण्यापासून तर इथे उभं राहण्यापर्यंत मला प्रत्येक मित्रांनी किंवा प्रत्येक पर्सननी मला मदत केली आहे. मी एकटा सीए झालेलो नाही, प्रत्येक पर्सन जो मला मदत केली आहे तो प्रत्येक पर्सन त्या दिवशी सीए झालाय. आणि स्पेशली एका पर्सनचं प्रत्येकाच्या आयुष्यामध्ये त्याचे आई वडील त्याच्या शेवटपर्यंत मदत करतातच. माझ्या आयुष्यामध्ये एक मेंटर आहेत आणि अजूनही असतील, त्यांनी फ्युचरमध्येही असतील. ते म्हणजे मी माझे क्लासेस पुण्यातनं केले. एक अकॅडमी आहे पुण्यामध्ये, एकत्वम अकॅडमी म्हणून, त्याचे जे फाउंडर आहेत सी अभिषेक जावरे, मी त्यांनाही खूप खूप आभार व्यक्त करतो त्यांचे सुद्धा, की त्यांच्या मेहनतीमुळे, माझ्या आई वडिलांच्या मेहनतीमुळे आणि सगळ्या ज्यांनी मला मदत केली त्यांच्या सगळ्यांच्या मेहनतीमुळे मी आज इथे उभा आहे. तर त्या सगळ्यांचं, तुम्हा सगळ्यांचं आणि स्टेजवरती असणाऱ्या सगळ्यांचं सुद्धा आभार. धन्यवाद.
Hello. Thank you, Shubham. Don't worry, attempt is not important. The person who passes with maximum attempts, his foundation is solid. That is what I always say because I have never passed first attempt. Friends, joke apart, one thing I want to tell you, which I missed out when I presented my views. If possible, learn some foreign language and one South Indian language, which will help you in your practice or service wherever you go. One more language you try to learn. Because today, world over, all chartered accountants go for the work or visit. So one foreign language you please learn, that will definitely help you. Now with this, I tell Preeti to take the session forward.
Shubham, we are speechless. Someone who has who has, faced so many challenges in your life, and you have been smiling throughout the time that you spoke. It's at moments such as these that one realizes that how blessed we are. And at Bombay Chartered Accountants Society, we do hope to see you at all our events, because it's very important that youngsters, as you said, that you need inspiration, you need mentoring. So, I mean, a lot of the those in the audience would want to learn from you. I'm sure they'll connect with you. We also have two rankers who have joined us online, and they are, I'm so very proud to say, both ladies. All India rank 10 and 11. Yes. And so we have the All India rank 10, Pooja Bhagmar, who's coming from Chennai. Pooja, if you are there online, please do address the audience and tell us about the challenges you faced. Over to you.
Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for inviting me here for this opportunity. And congratulations to all of you on clearing chartered accountancy. And special congratulations to Shubham. Actually, I couldn't understand most of his words because I don't know Marathi, but I can definitely feel, I can see how he's, come up to this. And I think my story is not inspiring. Great. Congratulations, Shubham. Shubham is his name, right? I couldn't catch it. Yeah. So I was an engineer. Back in 2013, I passed out as an engineer, and I worked at Infosys for a year or two. But there was like a hindrance at home. They really didn't let me work further. They wanted me to get married as such. वो मारवाड़ी society है तो बस करा दो शादी अब हो गया. इसके बाद शादी करने के बाद I just told my husband that I want to be independent. I am like totally career oriented girl. बट थोड़ा मुश्किल था इंजीनियरिंग में. दे वर लाइक नहीं अलाउ करेंगे घर से, जॉब पे नहीं जाने देंगे. थोड़ा चेन्नई इज अ कंजर्वेटिव सिटी एज सच. So then my husband was like, do you want to do chartered accountancy? And I really had no idea about CA. Like क्या है accounts, क्या है debit, क्या है credit, क्या है, कुछ idea ही नहीं है. I was like, okay, ठीक है, देखते हैं. I thought, okay, I'll take it up. But I told him I need 3 months time. I'll see my accounts textbook and 11th and 12th, I'll work it out. And if I understand, I'll take it up. And I kind of did understand, and I took it up as a challenge. Basically, I was like, I heard people saying CA is tougher than engineering. I just wanted to feel it, like which is more tougher. उस challenge के लिए मैंने लिया is mainly. But the journey was not so easy because having been married and घर का responsibility and everything, so बहुत मुश्किल था पढ़ाई करना. Plus, it was I got depressed a lot of times, to be honest. I like literally cried every day in the morning, last 2 months in inter. I was this close to quitting also, but family ka bahut acha support raha. My husband really supported me and my in-laws too, plus my parents. So yeah, kaise bhi, I was very sure I'll quit after writing inter, but I got exemption in 7 subjects. So sabko laga ki ye quit to nahi kar sakte. She has to do finals at any cost. ठीक है, फिर मैंने बोला अच्छा कर ही लेते हैं. But then I got pregnant after giving my inter. तो मेरा so I took a 2 years break in between. वो 3 साल का हुआ तब I prepared for my finals, and same story, same depression, same crying out at night in the mornings. Especially now, I was missing my child a lot. But ठीक है, I stayed with my parents, away from my child for 6 months, in fact. So I had to stay with my parents and away from my family and husband. It was not so easy, but I just knew one thing. I really want to do this. I don't want to quit CA. And यहाँ तक पहुँच गई तो अब कोई हारना है नहीं. And I know CA के बाद तो बहुत respect मिलता है, और वो respect मुझे earn करना था. Engineering में इतना respect नहीं मिलता है जितना CA में मिलता है. So I'm being very honest. It's really true. So I really didn't want to quit. So family also supported throughout. It's very hard to find an Indian woman studying after a marriage. In fact, working तो secondary है, study करने तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं देते. शादी के बाद बहुत कम लड़कियों को ऐसा chance मिलता है, I think. So I want all the girls out there to stand up for yourself and just express that you want to, what you want to do. Maybe it will work out. I expressed to my husband and he helped me out. He understood that what I want in life and he really helped me out. So I think you guys should express, all the girls out there. कोई तो, I mean, they just don't tell it out कि इनको ये हमको ये बनना है, हमको ये करना है. तो डर में ही आधी लड़कियां तो नहीं कर पाती आगे. So you should express, and I just hope every girl out there is independent and they get to do what they want. Thank you.
Quickly, 1 minute. Thank you so much. And many thanks to your husband also,
Yeah, I think
because he encouraged you, and ultimately, and tomorrow, I don't know, but if your son wants to do CA when he grow, definitely he will pass out in first attempt.
Definitely. I think my husband got more congratulated than me. For support.
Because my speaker today, Nitin Bhai, told me that behind every successful woman, there is a man.
Definitely. I think it's both the ways.
So Pooja, you said that you haven't faced the challenges that Shubham has, but from what we can see, you have had your challenges as well, right?
Different.
Yeah, that's.
I mean,
that's-
it's not easy to have
Yeah.
a family, have a kid, and then say, I'm going to stay away. So many,
Oh,
many
yeah.
congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. I now invite, do you have any specific question for our panelists here?
Actually, I am still thinking on which domain to choose. That is a real difficult. Rank आने के बाद मुझे लगता है और pressure आ गया. जितना पढ़ाई में pressure नहीं था, अब ज़्यादा pressure आ गया to search for a job, for the right job. It's really hard to. I don't know. I don't know how to figure out where to go, which field to choose.
14th of August, 15 minutes book कर लो साहब के LinkedIn profile तो दे दिया है.
ठीक है.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Come to Deloitte, I said.
I cannot hear you actually. Come to Deloitte. Sorry, ये नहीं सुनाई दिया.
Pooja is asking you to join Deloitte.
हाँ, definitely. I don't mind joining. Any Big Four is a good.
I now invite all, thank you so much, Pooja. Now I invite the All India Rank 11, Bhargavi Gogula from Vijayawada. Bhargavi, you are there on the line?
Namaste to all the dignitaries from the Chartered Accountancy profession, and my hearty wishes to all the young and aspiring Chartered Accountants gathered here today. First of all, I have to say that I'm very glad to be part of such an insightful session today. I feel a little bad that I couldn't attend it physically, but it's my pleasure to address you all at this auspicious moment. And I'm very delighted to meet such a great person like CA Shubham today. I feel very inspired by listening to his words. And coming to me, I'm Gogula Bhargavi from Andhra Pradesh. I'm a recently qualified chartered accountant in May 2023 with All India Rank 11. And I'm very honored to be part of such a noble profession like CA, which contributes a lot to the growth of the nation. Coming to my journey, I have to say it's all a smooth journey. I have not faced so many challenges so far. I cleared my all levels of CA in the first attempt with an All India Rank 2018 CA Inter as well. I have to say that I could be able to achieve this success throughout the CA journey because of the support and blessings of my parents, my mentors, and my principal auditor as well. I'm from a modest economical background. My father does business and my mother runs a busy home. It's all the trust they had on me, and I say the support they gave me made this national achievement for me. And I made July 5th, 2023, the date when our results are out, as one of the most memorable days for them. And coming to the most important phase of CA journey, that's articleship, where we could be exposed to practical insights, which we'll be learning theoretically till our CA Inter. I did my articleship at Vijayawada under my principal auditor, C.A. Tummala Shivaram Mohan Rao Garu. He's also a life member of BCAS. And I feel the articleship phase was very exciting, and even the practical insights which I got through my articleship journey helped a lot. As I have earlier mentioned, I did not face much challenges so far, and I wish I could put myself through upcoming challenges in future with the support of my well-wishers. And it's noteworthy to mention that my special thanks to BCAS, which strives very hard for uplifting the CA profession through all its activities. And also my special thanks to senior most past presidents of BCAS, Shri C.A. Narayan Pasari ji and Shri C.A. Uday Sathe ji, and the entire team of BCAS for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to address you all here. And finally, I wish all the budding chartered accountants to have a bright career ahead. Thank you for such an opportunity.
Friends, both these rankers we will be felicitating, and their mementos will be couriered to them tomorrow. And particularly this Bhargavi, her principal, Ram Mohan Rao, he is a regular participant of BCA activities. Even for a half-day seminar in Mumbai, he travels from Vijayawada to Mumbai. So you can imagine such a valuable programs BCA is conducting, and particularly we have got a very good response always from the southern states of India. So that's why when Nitin mentioned that you should not look into the short-term pleasure, he gave an example of smoking. You should become BCA member to have a long-term benefit.
May I now invite 5 or 6 of you to come forward and get felicitated from the hands of our speakers and our president and chairman. Before that, we have the vote of thanks and the announcements. I would request Janam, who's a coordinator in the committee and who's been working very hard to put this event together. Please come and make the announcements.
Congratulations, champions, to be here. Before we have a formal felicitation event, I'll present vote of thanks to our speakers. And before that, I'll make some few announcements for the BCS activities that we have during this 75th year. Our one mega conference, which is from 4th of January, 4th to 6th of January at Geo Convention Center. Over there, we have various programs which are scheduled on the future of the profession, which were announced by our president also. I'll just name a few: a new tax regime for new India, digital infrastructure, a game changer, reimagine the new age professional firms. These are some of the topics that we'll be covering in our mega conference. With that, we also have our regular events which are there. One of is the 6th long duration course on GST. It is a 30-session course which is spread across 2 months, where we have in-depth study of GST as a subject, from constitution stage up to appeals, penalties. So which is starting from 24th of August to 7th of October. You all young chartered accountants who wants to be in the field of GST can take this opportunity to learn from the stalwarts of the profession. We have a 4-day conference, a course on Foreign Exchange Management Act, which is on 25th August to 1st and 2nd September. So the participants who wants to learn the FEMA subject can take this. Then we also have a 1-day track for Kondana Caves for the young chartered accountants who are there. You can come together. We can spend some time so that networking will be there. And there are many other events which are going through. You can always check the BCS website for that. Now let me thank both the speakers for tonight, who shared their vast experience and knowledge with you. Nitin Bhai, as he has been into practice for more than 35 years. He gave you a few concept of cash, that is knowledge, attitude, skill, and the habit that you need to develop. You can see from his talk, you know, the knowledge that he has gathered over the years, the studies of the book, the authors that he had, you know, spoken about. So we'll request you, means what you can take from his talk, that, you know, you need to keep on upgrading yourself in the, you know, journey that you are going through. And Vivek, as you know, he was very candid about, you know, whatever he said, he was from his heart. And as he told, do what you love and love what you do. He is doing what he is loving. So I'll request all of you to follow what he said. And I'll request you all to present, you know, both of them a loud applause